In 1840, 6 American women crossed the Atlantic to attend the World Anti-Slavery Convention in London. Among the delegates were Elizabeth Cady Stanton from Boston and Lucretia Mott from Philadelphia. As women delegates, Stanton and Mott were barred from speaking or participating in the proceedings. They would not forget their experience in London. It would be a motivating factor 8 years later when, in 1848, they held their own convention. They advertised the gathering as a convention to discuss the social, civil, and religious condition and rights of woman. It would come to be known as the Seneca Falls Convention. Seneca Falls lies along the Cayuga-Seneca Canal near Cayuga Lake, one of the Finger Lakes in central New York. The town sits on the Seneca River, where a series of falls and rapids provided reliable water power. Flour and grist mills, woolen mills, and distilleries all thrived. The J.C. and R.M. Sears Iron Foundry, later known as the Seneca Falls Manufacturing Company, produced water pumps, fire engines, and industrial machinery. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and her husband Henry Brewster Stanton relocated from Boston to Seneca Falls in 1847. Within a year of their arrival, Elizabeth helped organize the Seneca Falls Convention. Her chief allies were Lucretia Mott, Martha Coffin Wright, Mary Ann McClintock, and Jane Hunt. Women had few legal rights at the time. Married women could not own property, control wages, or have custody of children. No woman had the right to vote. By practice, women were denied access to almost all colleges and universities and professional opportunities. The movement to advance women's rights arose as part of a broad set of reform movements in America. The 1840s was the tail end of the Second Great Awakening, a religious revival movement that emphasized personal salvation and moral responsibility. It stressed social morality. At the time of Seneca Falls, major reform efforts included the temperance movement, of which Elizabeth Cady Stanton was a prominent leader, and the abolition movement. Among the most important leaders was the former slave Sojourner Truth. Education reformers at the time expanded access to schooling for children from all sectors of society. The Seneca Falls Convention took place on July 19th to 20th, 1848, at the Wesleyan Chapel. Like the Methodist Church in general, the chapel embraced reform. Many churches at the time did not allow women to speak publicly. The Wesleyan Chapel was more progressive and permitted women to speak and to lead meetings. About 300 people attended the convention. This included women and men from various backgrounds, many of whom were involved in the abolition movement. On the first day, attendance was limited to women. Men were allowed on the second day and could participate in discussions and voting. The Declaration of Sentiments was the central document produced by the Seneca Falls Convention. Modeled after the Declaration of Independence, it listed grievances against men for denying women equal rights. Positively, it declared that all men and women are created equal. That particular claim directly challenged long-standing legal and social inequalities. Among the speakers was Frederick Douglass. Women's suffrage was the most controversial demand. The call for women's right to vote nearly failed, but was ultimately included, thanks in part to Douglass's support. 100 attendees signed the Declaration of Sentiments, including 68 women and 32 men. The convention sparked a national women's rights movement. Seneca Falls inspired future conventions and laid the groundwork for later reforms, including the eventual ratification of the 19th Amendment in 1920. As part of her effort to secure the women's right to divorce, Stanton herself repudiated the religious foundations of marriage. She even published a women's Bible, treating the biblical text as if made by humans alone. After meeting Elizabeth Cady Stanton at a temperance convention in 1851, Susan B. Anthony joined the women's movement. She was a lifelong Christian, raised in a Quaker family dedicated to abolition and social reform. On matters of religion, she diverged from her ally Stanton. Anthony would play a crucial role in expanding the women's movement nationally. She advocated for women and children for over 50 years and became an early American voice against abortion. She died in 1906, just 4 years after Stanton passed. Susan B. Anthony's image was the first image of an American woman to appear on a coin minted by the U.S. government and put into circulation.